Michelle, these are great, and they will help your website to look sleek and upscale as you wish. Glad that you found Adobe XD that will help you with these. What can I say in general? And I don't want all these websites to look alike. I mean, how dull would that be? But in general, if you range your navigation vertically like this down the side, you do risk, maybe losing part of it on depending on how the user, what device they're using on, and what scale they're looking at. They're looking at it at. So for that reason, you can be relatively assured that any user is probably going to see the upper left-hand corner first. And so by having the logo there and then the navigation range out to the right, it might be the most practical arrangement of your navigation and corporate identities materials. I like how in your wireframes you've begun to indicate text. I think that's really important, to envision text on your web page. Just know that it's really hard to control the user experience because users have so much have ability to maybe enlarge the text. It'll change line breaks and so forth. So as long as you understand that this is optimal, but be sure to look at your pages as you develop them on different devices, particularly small devices like tablets and phones. I like arrangements where the photography bleeds off the edge and, rather than having these blocks inset in the text. But I mean, it's something of a personal preference. This I think is, a pleasing arrangement of ingredients, but avoid these awkward white spaces between images. They can get almost distracting. And I would tend towards bleeding images. That means, where they go off the edge of the field, whether it's the screen or the page. And I think for that reason, I'm going to suggest Wireframe 2. I mean, insofar as it is possible to come close to these. Good job. Michelle, this is great. You've used the background corporate palette color. You've also applied the corporate red to the type. And when I look at this, your code, now every browser, you can do this. I wanted to point out a script that will appear on those of you who have chosen GeoCities. And this is called host code. It allows your pages to be searchable. Don't be concerned about it. Just know that, if you view your pages dynamically, that is, from the code on your pages from your browser, looking at your web server files, that there's going to be some host code that appears. And here it looks like you copied and pasted, perhaps. Oh. Okay. It looks like you copied and pasted that host code twice. Know that you don't need to put it there, that it will appear automatically or dynamically on your page. And it looks like it's been pasted here several times. So you can go ahead and safely remove that where you pasted it. I understand how it gets there. Here, also your meta comments are great. And yes, I agree. Be selective. If you want to rewrite the vision statement, I know there's plenty to do already in this course, but you're welcome to do that. You've picked the RGB colors. Isn't that interesting? Normally you probably use the triplex colors, but this seems to be working. These aren't going to be perhaps quite as numerous or accurate as the triplet colors rather. That's, the alphanumeric characters. There's, I think, 3 sets of 2 characters to designate color. Check it out. There are several ways, several different color spaces, and RGB, which is the screen color space. That's fine to use these, but check out other color designations appropriate for the web. And here's some more host code that gets placed on your pages dynamically. This is good though. The rubric is binary, so I have to say that you have added style to the heading, and you've used the chosen client's color palette, and also you've been able to upload to GeoCities. Now I see that you have a directory, but consider how you're going to archive your weekly assignments, because you don't want to keep overwriting index.html, right? So consider subdirectories. On the other hand, you don't want it to be too complicated, but you've met the criteria of the rubric well. Good job. Michelle, this is very nicely presented, and I like your visual sitemap. Have you thought about using the corporate colors? If you're making a presentation of collateral, you might coordinate everything so that the client's corporate palette, the tone of their language, and so forth is all reflected in your presentation materials. Anyway, that's sort of a distraction here. Be careful about making a website that's very deep. These suggest not pages, unless you've color coded them, that this tan is page. These are directories. This is also quite a few directories to have. It's ambitious, I think, for the remaining 4 weeks. So I certainly wouldn't fault you for simplifying it and maybe having fewer subdirectories, unless these are pages. But anyway, doing a visual sitemap like this, I think, reveals organizational, I don't want to say problems, but issues. And then let me zoom in here. Here is your unordered list, UL, great. And this will become the basis of your navigation. Again, really ambitious, because it looks like you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I just want to save your effort, and half as many links would be perfectly acceptable. But nonetheless, if this is the direction you want to go in, I admire your tenacity. And here is another kind of sitemap. I mean, they're essentially the same things. Here it has the URLs spelled out, and here it looks like they are already linked. So sitemaps too are appropriately placed in your the footer. Now, as far as file management, here's what it looks like on your MacBook Pro. So actually, it should probably look the same as it does on my MacBook Pro. And seeing that you've got folders for images, for media, what might you put in the media folders? Just curious. And you have all the HTML outside of that. This will work, and it looks like your file management on your web server, GeoCities, looks very much like on your computer. So you got that idea. And here it is again. Oh, I see. This is through using the file manager in GeoCities. This is using CyberDuck. Yeah, I mean, with certain type of graphic variations, they all look alike. Good job. Okay, I'm going to leave off here, but appreciate your good work, Michelle.